What's up, A to Z Sports Live on this Thursday. Going to have a great show again as we approach quickly the Titans-Jags game. Week 18 win and get in scenario for the Tennessee Titans again. And today is the day we ask the ultimate Titans question: NFL playoffs or higher draft pick? Which is better for the Tennessee Titans in this version of the Tennessee Titans? And I know that fans will come in hot with their opinions throughout the morning about what we've got going on today. We've got video to play from Mike Vrabel about the importance of what this means for the Titans. Traylon Burks video about what this means to him and how excited he is about this opportunity, plus some Traylon Burks update that we'll touch on at the very beginning of this show from yesterday's practice. And then we'll know going into tomorrow morning show on a Friday who's in, who's out for the Titans going into this game against the Jags, as today is technically the Friday for that. So big questions all around. So we want your opinion on this. What is better for the Titans, making the playoffs or getting a higher draft pick? We'll go through all of that conversation that we've been waiting to have for the last week and a half or so. Then Derrick Henry's fumbling issues and how the Titans are trying to fix it. And we'll talk about that here from Titans running back coach Tony Dews as well. So Zach, welcome in. It's a Thursday. It's been a while, since we've done the Magic Bucket, because last Thursday's show, we had a different Thursday for the Cowboys game, but Magic Bucket is back on this Thursday morning. Welcome in.
Yeah, got a lot to get to on this Titans Thursday. We are broadcasting live from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. We got you covered on all three platforms, and we will tweet out segment by segment our YouTube link on our Twitter account at A to Z Sports. So follow us on Twitter at A to Z Sports. A great follow there with great content, tweets, live game tweets, post-game tweets, locker room tweets. A good follow at A to Z Sports. And hit the subscribe button on our YouTube page. That's a great subscription right there. If you've already subscribed to our YouTube page, which over 10,000 of you have, which is great. We're trying to get to 15,000. So if you have not, hit the subscribe button. If you have, go ahead and like this video if you're watching on YouTube. That will help out the algorithm. That will get more people involved. More people will pile in here, and more people will watch the show. And when more people watch the show, they interact, and we get better opinions. That's how A to Z works. That's the premise of A to Z Sports. So subscribe if you haven't already, or like the show on YouTube. And then shout out to our real OGs, the Facebook crew, over 90 or right pushing around 90,000 followers on Facebook, because we've been doing that for a lot longer. Bottom left corner of your screen, share now to public. Sharing is caring and caring is sharing on this show, as we say. More people are going to be piling in over the next 5 to 10 minutes. And as you guys do, please share the show around. We need to pop up in your Facebook friends news feed. So on a Titans Thursday, I think we've been holding on to this question for days on end, even maybe weeks. I mean, it's been longer than a week of what we've known based on kind of the meaningless game. And as the Titans have lost 6 in a row, trying to not make it 7, or maybe are they? I don't know. That's the best question. So we've got a great show coming on this Titans Thursday. Let's get this party started.
Yeah, let's do it officially. Welcome into A to Z Sports, powered by the BetMGM app. I'm Austin Stanley. He is Zach Bingham. Make sure you follow us all over social media, as we are Nashville's on-demand sports talk network, going live weekday mornings at 8 Central Time on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Links to the show all over our Twitter timeline. Also hit us up on Instagram and TikTok for more of our Titans content. We got to thank our sponsors because they make it happen for us, and they help out you guys, like Wilson County Hyundai. Make them a part of your new car buying process by going to see them in Lebanon, or simply at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. The Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Farm Bureau Health Plans. Get better with Farm Bureau Health Plan. That's better coverage, rates, and service. Learn more about a plan for you at fbhp.com/ATOZ. And Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers, the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. If you've been injured in a car wreck, call Hughes and Coleman for a free case consultation, 800-800-4600. So we're going to have a big show talking about the ultimate Titans question this week. Is it better for the Titans to have a playoff appearance or to work for a higher draft pick? Because this is a big game. The Titans win and in situation on Saturday night in Jacksonville, Zach. And let's go to Titans rookie first rounder Treylon Burks on the opportunity that he has and this team has ahead.
This kind of game this weekend, the rookie NFL sort of dream, I guess, prime time playing for the playoffs, is what you dreamt about as a kid?
100%. Just go out and, like I always say, just go out and have fun and just give everything else a go.
Does that get you pumped up?
Yeah, 100%.
So there's Treylon Burks there. Really the first time
I need a little bit more from old Treylon, I'll be honest.
Well, yeah, Treylon, he has not talked to the media in a long time because of his concussion situation and then just the weird fluidity of what his availability has been. And then this was before practice yesterday, Zach, which was the Wednesday practice that they talked to Treylon Burks. And then after practice, we learned that Treylon Burks was limited with a groin injury. So that's new update there. But, this is a big game, I think, for Treylon Burks and for everybody is can they put together something on offense to even have a shot at a playoff game? But the overall scope of what this game means, I think, is massive for the franchise. You either win the game and you win the AFC South for the third consecutive year, or you lose the game and you're back in a spot that you haven't been since 2016.
Yeah, Lawan, right?
No, technically Jack Conklin, because of
The trade.
Yeah, the trade of the first overall pick. But the 2015 season was what gave the Titans the first overall pick in 2016, then trading it with the Rams and getting those picks there. But there's a lot that's weighing on this game, Zach. So let's not waste any more time. Let's ask this question right now. What's better for the Titans, making the playoffs or getting a higher draft pick? What is better for the Tennessee Titans, making the playoffs or getting a higher draft pick? But first, Zach, tell everybody about Wilson County Hyundai.
Yeah, I cannot wait to hear, and the comments are going to flood. And look, we'll find out what Austin has to say. We'll find out what I have to say. We'll find out what the chat has to say. I'll find out what Wilson County Hyundai has to say. Well, they're hooking up with a great ride. That's a guarantee of what they're saying. Quick trip down I-40 exit 236, Wilson County Hyundai, right there on your screen. They got the all-new Palisade, which has full rows. I mean, it's a full-size SUV with third-row seating. You can't beat that. They've got the Sonata, which is a four-door sedan. All of their cars and vehicles are fuel efficient, and their Ioniq, which is battery-powered, is even better. It doesn't need fuel. That thing runs on energy. So it's your perfect make and model. You've just got to go look at their inventory at wilsoncountyhyundai.com. That's wilsoncountyhyundai.com.
Also, download the BetMGM app. Use our code ATOZ Sports. That gives you a risk-free bet on pro football up to $1,000. It's a great time to do it last week of the regular season before heading into the tournament, as more and more players and coaches are calling it the tournament these days. Again, download the BetMGM app. Use our code ATOZ Sports. Make your first deposit, and then your first bet on pro football is risk-free up to $1,000. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 or older. Tennessee only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification, eligible requirements, rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire in 7 days. And for problem game support, call Tennessee Red Line 800-889-9789. Zach, I'll send you to the chat. The ultimate question that we've all been talking about the last couple of weeks. What's better for the Titans, making the playoffs or getting a higher draft pick? I'll let you start with the chat.
Aaron goes with top 10 pick, and right now, currently, the Titans are picking 11 with 1 week to play, and the teams above them, you got to think Carolina and the New Orleans Saints play each other. So there is that caveat.
You want the Saints to win that game.
You've got Frankie saying the playoffs. Will says making the playoffs. Williams not playing the game and says both. Stanley says it doesn't matter if you give me a draft pick. If you don't show that you can at least make the playoffs, you won't be able to lure any free agents. So there's another way of thinking about things. Jeremy goes draft picks. Pick from Jared making the playoff there from Kyer. You've got top 10 pick, no question. Draft pick from Honky Tonk. The goal is playoffs every year and then a playoff run. No other answer from Trey. picks coming in from Steven and Jonathan. But Michael says playoffs, those picks, you never know what you're going to get. Draft picks by far from Church. This is why it's a good question. Never want to lose. Picks are never certain to contribute right away. Any chance to make the playoffs is more profitable for the team. So that helps the team financially, even though there is a salary cap. Let's see, making the playoffs from Nas. They can't draft players anyways from Kyer, but the guy drafting is not going to be the same guy drafting. I do want to note that because John Robinson is fired. Bama says owner playoffs, fans picks. Making the playoffs, they don't pick well. Again, it's a different guy picking, guys. Yeah. Just know that. Doesn't mean that he's going to be better, but it also doesn't mean that he's going to be worse, right? So there is that. It's just there's a new general manager that will be involved, whether his title is general manager or whatever, because John Robinson is no longer there. Rossi says realistically the pick, but he wants to win in his heart of hearts. Sheila says playoffs, draft picks from D'Lo, win the game from Brock, making the playoffs. I need to see how the next GM drafts before saying a top 10 pick, which there Steven is a wait and see type of guy. Higher pick if it's a top 10 from Guy, draft pick from Omar, playoffs from Deborah. I mean, this thing is all over the board, which, Austin, we kind of predict, or at least that's what I thought, because you're hamstrung, you're torn. It's, oh man, you want to root for your favorite team in the biggest game of the season, in a deciding game, to actually attend another playoff game and give it a go and try to make a run like you did in 2019. Or it is, well, we're decimated by injuries. You're not going to beat anybody. You're not going to do anything in the playoffs. If you don't think that, the draft pick will help you for the future, because it's not only a draft pick, in the first round, it's a high draft pick through all of the rounds, right?
Yeah.
So, Austin, where do you reside? What is better for the Tennessee Titans? Is it winning against Jacksonville and making the playoffs, or losing against Jacksonville and potentially having a top 10 draft pick?
Yeah. And so I think this is a complicated question, and it's something that I think we've been kind of waiting for the right spot to ask it. And I think today is that right day. But Zach, I'm going to quote a commenter, Jonathan Caverly, on Facebook from earlier in the show. It's always good to win. It's always a positive to win a football game, to make the playoffs, right? This is what this is. This is a game to make the playoffs, to earn another game. This isn't the Jets beating the Rams a couple of years ago to lose the first overall draft pick and have to drag Zach Wilson over instead of Trevor Lawrence, because if they lost to the Rams, then they would have gotten Trevor Lawrence. This is a win to get in the playoffs, and it's always better to do that. And so I think what's better for the Titans, win the division for the third straight year. Keep the Jags out of the playoffs. Go into the playoffs. Host another home playoff game for the third time in a row, and hopefully the third time is the charm when it comes to winning a home playoff game, which would be the first home playoff win since 2002, because we talked about that earlier in the week. Win the football game. That's a big deal. Derrick Henry's 29th birthday was yesterday. Derrick Henry is getting older. You want to make sure you get as much out of Derrick Henry and what this defense healthier can become, because Henry, Autry, Simmons, Fulton, Hooker, those guys are back at practice, and they're a big deal for the Titans to have in this game against the Jags. My answer is win the damn game. Go earn yourself another opportunity. And I kind of said this on Monday. If I'm the Titans, and for me watching the Titans, I'm not scared of the Chargers. I'm not scared of the Ravens. And those are the two teams you'd be playing. And so I think the Titans can win those games at home against the Chargers and the Ravens. Like, I don't think that's ridiculous.
Austin, they've lost 6 in a row.
I understand.
Man, you're not talking about a Tannehill-driven team with Bud Dupree and Harold Landry and David Long Jr. You're not talking about that. You're not talking about an offensive line that has Taylor Lewan and Bid Jones. You're not talking about that. You're talking about the team that we've seen for 6 straight weeks
I
lose.
understand.
Do you realize that?
Yeah.
You really think that they could beat the Chargers and the Ravens with the team that they currently have?
Well,
you believe that?
I think there's a chance. Yes. I'm not saying I would pick it. I'm not saying I would bet money on the Titans to win it. I'm saying, yeah, I don't think that's astronomical of a crazy thought. I think the Titans can beat those teams at home in the playoffs another week down the road. And again, after beating the Jags with Josh Dobbs and Derrick Henry for the first time, I'm operating on that thought of, yeah, you can beat the Ravens and the Chargers because you had to beat the Jags to even get there to begin with. So yes, I think they can. It would be ridiculous to not think they can because they just held the Chargers and Justin Herbert to 17 points.
With different players. Austin, they're different players.
The defense?
The offense and the defense. The team.
Zach, what did I say? The Titans did what?
They don't have Ryan Tannehill.
Zach,
do you realize that?
Zach, what did I say? What did I say? The Titans did what? The Titans held Justin Herbert to 17 points at their place.
They can't score 17 points.
Zach.
How many points have they scored the last several games?
It's been 14, 13,
you said it yesterday.
Yeah, 14, 13, 13.
That's not 17.
I'm talking about what this defense can do because
the point is they can't score 17. So if you sit there and defend that they held this defense, the Chargers to 17 points, again, it doesn't matter. They can't score 17.
But again, Zach, they're going to have guys back from who missed that game, like Fulton, who might have been able to make a play on Mike Williams to help win the game or send it to overtime.
He can barely score 14. So Fulton, I don't think counts for 3 points. The point is that this team should lose. That is in the best interest of the Tennessee Titans. Austin, and I'm surprised you went this direction overall of the conceptually. Because what's the worst place to be in the NFL?
I mean, quarterback purgatory.
What are the Titans in?
They're on the verge of quarterback purgatory.
Verge? Let's not talk about quarterback purgatory. Let's erase the first word and just say purgatory. Purgatory is when you're held hostage and you can't move. You can't go up, you can't go down. Austin, this is where the Tennessee Titans are. Austin, if they win this game, instead of having a top 10 pick throughout all of the rounds, mind you, it's not just the first round. You get better picks in the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. John Robinson is not picking, so you would hope, the new general manager, whoever's going to pick this, has a very great opportunity to be a better first-round picker than John Robinson. If they beat the Jags, they're going to be picking 19 or 20. That's where purgatory is. You've said it. I've said it over the years. You don't want to be there. Austin, do you think that this team can win the Super Bowl?
No.
Then you don't need to win this game. If you don't believe in your heart of hearts that they can make a deep run and go to the Super Bowl and change the perception, we heard a viewer in the chat earlier say, free agency. How you get free agency is that you have, oh, wow, this team is well put together. Mike Vrabel can lead this team to a Super Bowl no matter who the players are. But I'm with you. I don't believe that this team pill to swallow. And I think some of the Titan fans in the chat, they're good. Pills are good. Pills are good. The pills are down. You need to start over. You need to rethink your strategy because 3 teams have passed you by. Because the consistency teams over the last several years have been the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals. They're in the class of their own. The Titans possibly could win the division for a 3rd straight year. They're in a class of their own, and it's not at the top. You need to reset and rethink. And Austin, I said this on our post-game show after the Bengals lost, in the playoffs. I've seen enough NFL football in my life. I could see it from a mile away. You need to reset. And you don't have to reset to like ground zero, but you need a new quarterback. You need a new offensive coordinator. You need better players. You need all of that. Austin, how you build a roster and get better players and why your general manager was canned is through the draft. John Robinson did not draft well for the premier players. You can help your new general manager by giving him a top 10 pick and giving him a head start. You're not giving him a head start if he's picking 19, 18, 20. You're putting him in the same position.
There will be a lot of, there's a lot of words that will start with that the Titans and Titans media and fans will be using, whether it's retool, a restart, reset, rebuild will be avoided by the team, but that'll be something that we'll discuss throughout. And there's a lot of discussions and decisions that they're going to have to make that defines which of those terms I said will be the reality. And I don't think winning this game completely screws that up. Look,
it's 10 picks worth, and it's 10 picks on every round. That's the impact. You're a draft guy, Austin. You know that better than anybody.
Yeah, I know
What's the importance and the difference between picking top 10 every round and 20th every round? The discrepancy in the first 2 rounds is astronomical. Ask Josh Dobbs about that, right?
Yeah,
He's an astronomy guy, right? So, the impact of this, Austin, it goes against every single thing that you, I think, stand up for. Is you don't want to be in purgatory. You don't want to be in Jeff Fisher Central. You need to restart. You don't believe in your quarterback. Your offensive line needs to be retooled. Your left tackle's not coming back, and God knows Dennis Daly needs to move. Like, all of these things. And I saw somebody in the comments earlier say, look, you need to burn this to the ground. You don't need to burn it to the ground. You need to just pay more attention to the offensive side of the football and reset your philosophy on the offense. It doesn't work.
So I want to get to this because Nick says losing for a pick is, quote, mentally weak. And again, like Nick,
it's intelligent.
Well, Nick, let's focus on how we've presented this question. We are not talking about what are the Titans having discussions about inside the building. We're talking about what is better for the Titans on our opinion to share. And it's your opinion, our opinion, Zach's opinion, my opinion, that what's better for the Titans. Because the Titans inside that building, and let's go ahead and hear from Mike Vrabel about what he thinks when it comes to the importance of this game. And we'll hear from the Titans head coach here in a second. But first, let me tell you guys about the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care. Whenever you get hurt in life, you have to know where to go and who to trust to get back to health. And the Bone and Joint Institute, they have these specialists, the physicians who can get you back on track, and the state-of-the-art rehab facility in Franklin, the region's destination for comprehensive orthopedic and sports medicine care is the Bone and Joint Institute, boneandjointtn.org.
I got a love of the show I'm going to give out too.
All right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Love of the show. A secondary love goes to BetMGM because you can download the app, get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 with the BetMGM app for new users on Pro Football. ATOZ Sports is the promo code. Use that promo code in the tab. All one word, no spaces. You get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 on Pro Football. King of the sports book right there, BetMGM. We love BetMGM.
All right, so do you want to do your love of the show real quick?
I can do the love of the show real quick, and of course, I click on it and it goes away. But it is Joel. Let's see, scroll. Joel says, and I can't find it now. I will
Joel
find
Schenker?
it.
I think I got it.
Does it say competitive?
Yes. Competitive rebuild. Sounds like David
those
Cole.
2 words is exactly what it is. And to competitively rebuild, it's a lot easier to competitively rebuild by picking in the top 10 of the NFL draft. Look at all the teams that don't have their picks, right? That do not have their picks. The Titans have their picks currently. And hell, they need more. And so competitive rebuild. Joel, I will credit you, Joel, throughout the course of the offseason and whatever happens on Saturday night, because that's exactly what they need to do, a competitive rebuild. Top 10's a lot easier than picking 20.
Well, I think Joel might be a Titans and Preds fan because David Poyle said competitive rebuild, for years when it came to that. And right, so it's like the exotic Smash Mouth. Competitive rebuild.
They didn't have a top 10 pick. The Preds during their competitive rebuild never had a top 10 pick. That's the truth.
Do you know that?
Yeah, during the seasons of when he was talking about competitive rebuild, they didn't have a top 10 pick. They were good. They were in purgatory.
Do you know that for sure? I mean, I don't know. Is that just a guesstimate? Because I don't think you paid all.
Following the Preds season, we can sit there and look at their draft picks. I'll go Jeffrey Simmons confident. I'm
98%. Okay, yeah. 98% confident. Because I know that they had
draft history. 17, 19. So when he said that, they didn't have first round pick in 2018. They picked
traded
30th and 24th. And then their highest draft pick was outside of the top 10, which is 2020, but that was past their competitive rebuild after their Stanley Cup appearance. So again, it's a lot easier if you have a top 10 pick. And Austin, the top 10 players like in the NFL draft can come in and play.
They should.
Usually in good years, 8 out of 10 of those guys hit, right? In regular years, about 6. In bad years, like 4. But look at the cornerbacks when Caleb Farley was drafted, right? Like Caleb Farley fell. The 2 top 10 cornerbacks in that draft were Patrick Surtain and J.C. Horn.
Yeah.
Look at what those guys are doing.
J.C. Horn went 8th. Patrick Surtain went 9th.
That's right where you're going to be picking.
Right. So let's get to, back to.
Do you?
No, Zach, I'm not an idiot. I understand what you're saying. Like, again, I just think it's the right thing.
Do you really believe that, though?
Yeah,
I think win.
I think it's always a good thing to make the playoffs. Yes, to make the playoffs, absolutely. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers, what the hell are they doing? Like I know they got their quarterback, and that helps things.
That was the point. The Titans don't have their quarterback.
I'm saying
the only way they're going to get their quarterback, though, is either through the draft or free agency. And if you go through free agency, you're going to be Derek Carr.
And I don't think the quarterback is this year draft wise.
So you're going to stay in purgatory for another year.
But again, like that, I think that goes into as well of what I think is that it's multifaceted, right? It's the fact that I don't think the Titans will be needing to draft a quarterback or be in position to draft a quarterback wherever they land if they don't win the AFC South. I think it's always good to make the playoffs and to win your division no matter what.
No, that is nobody speaks in absolutes. Life is not about absolutes in that sense. It is not always beneficial to make the playoffs.
This isn't like you're sneaking in the wild card type of thing. This is like you're winning your division.
Austin, very rarely do you go from playoff team to top 10 pick. This is a very unique year where there is a log jam in the NFL. This is unique. You can take advantage of. You know how many 8-8 teams there are?
I have the standings right in front
I'll tell you.
There's 8. There's 3 in the AFC.
There's 8. There's 8 teams. And then you look even further.
4.
Yeah. And then there's a 7-8-1 team, which is Washington. You can pick your poison, whatever you want. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Austin, 13 out of the 32 teams in the league are at 500 or right around there.
Yeah.
You don't get this opportunity. So don't speak in absolutes. It's not always beneficial to make the playoffs.
And then Jesse says, this is an awful take about this is the deepest quarterback pool in quite a while. I mean, if the Titans are picking 8th, 9th, or 10th, then they're going to be getting the 4th quarterback who is not an 8th, 9th, or 10th
But
spot.
you don't know what they're going to do. They may trade up. Like, you have no idea that you're sitting there saying that they're just going to pick in that spot. They may not even take a quarterback. They may take an offensive tackle because they need that.
Again, Zach, that was my point, is that I do not think this is the year for the quarterback. That was the point I was disagreeing with when that person said that.
Well, you're eventually going to have to get one.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, of course. Like, they're eventually going to have to get a quarterback. Shocker of the world. Like, yes. But again, my thoughts this year, or as wherever the Titans are at, I don't think they're in striking distance of getting a quarterback that I think is worth a damn. Because after Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, I don't think there's a quarterback worth a damn. Will Levis, blah. Anthony Richardson, even blah. And then what else is there after that? There's not that fifth quarterback, and those second group of Richardson and Levis are reaches at where they're at. And so that's the point here,
but
too.
A top 10 pick can help your football team much better than a playoff appearance right now.
I don't know, man.
Why don't you know?
Zach, I still think making the playoffs to get in, because apathy, it's that word. Apathy is a scary thing. And if the Titans go 7-10 by losing 7 consecutive games, I think there's a massive apathetic feeling around the fan base.
Around the fan base, they're picking top 10. What are you talking about? You're going right into the season where people are going to be fired up for a top 10 pick. You're actually going to be picking from a better pool. That makes no sense.
I don't like the
You can say all this, but you're not making logical sense. You can't sit here and scream apathy when you have a top 10 pick. You said it to start the show. They haven't had a top 10 pick since 2016. It's been a long time since they had a top 10 pick.
Yeah.
There's not apathetic.
And
it's wrong.
I think there's a lot of apathy that will set in if the Titans lose 7 games in a row to end the season.
Well, They've already lost 6. So, like, one
and now
more
you have
game
a chance, you have
gives
a chance
you
to
a
make
top 10 pick.
Right,
you know what's going to be more apathetic is if you get boat raced in the playoffs in the first round again for the 3rd straight year at home. Literally, I'm saying this. If you get beat for the 3rd straight year at home, which you probably are going to do after winning the division, and then you pick 20th. Talk about apathy. There you go. That's the recipe for apathy.
Part of my opinion in this is that I think that if the Titans beat the Jags, I think, yes, the Titans can beat either the Ravens or the Chargers. I believe that. I'm not saying they will. I'm saying they could win.
But if they don't, you're more apathetic. The probability is that they don't. You're more apathetic if you're picking 20th and you make the playoffs and lose for the 3rd straight year instead of picking in the top 10.
I just think regardless of the outcome of the Jags game on Saturday, there is a lot of decisions that will be made by the unnamed new general manager that will also have just as much importance as the draft slot pick.
A top 10 pick is more valuable than all of that.
All right. So, Mike Vrabel, his words are important. Let's quickly play Mike Vrabel on what he thinks on the idea of what this game means and the conversation that we've been having.
Even with a potential losing record going into the playoffs, why is making the playoffs so important to this organization?
Well, I think it's important just because once you get in, you have a chance. You're in the tournament. We've had, we want to have a consistent program, a consistent winning program. We don't want to be in the situation that we've been in the last, couple weeks. Nobody wants that. But, the reality is that we're playing for, an opportunity to win the division, an opportunity to make the playoffs. So it's winning is the foundation of everything that we do, competitiveness. But it's not okay just to compete and not end up winning. We have to win. And like I said, we can go back and we can look at all these games where, man, you guys were really competitive, but, we just came up a little bit short. And there's been throughout the last 6 weeks some really, really competitive moments. Unfortunately, not good enough and not consistently enough. So, we'll just have to put it all together this week.
And obviously that's Mike Vrabel, the head coach, who's not going to say anything other than, yes, winning is the foundation of everything. And that I subscribe to that. I think there's a lot of guys in that locker room that winning a game to get a home playoff game is a big deal. Playing another home playoff game is a big deal and is always a big deal. That's why they should go for it. Now, I know you disagree with that not being the best thing for the franchise right now, and that's why I think it's a great conversation. I love this conversation because everybody can have great points on either side. I just still think winning to go to the playoffs is a big deal.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to read some lunchbox money because we had a good discussion, and then we'll move forward. I'll say my final piece. W says, thank God J-Rob is gone because he would have traded the top 10 to 23, pick a player who fell from the top 10 due to massive injury. Burn. That was actually a good, good burn there. Scrolling back up because we have had some lunch money coming in. Holiday says it's a win-win situation. You either win the division or you win a top 10 draft pick. And Holiday, that's where I fundamentally disagree. It's not a win-win.
I said that on Monday. I said that it's a win-win situation, is that you win the division or you win a top 10 draft pick. I truly do believe
one
that.
Is greater than the other, though.
Going to the playoffs and winning a third consecutive division is the greater than the other.
That definitely is false. That doesn't make any rational sense.
Okay.
You know what? And this is what I'll say. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. And you have to play the game within the game. You can't sit up here and Vrabelize everything and be like, let's go win one for the Gipper. We're right here. We got to win. We're trying to win. Win, 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 win. No. You play it smart. You play it through a strategy. I mean, look at the marathon now. They ran for a long, long time. Yeah. But the Philadelphia 76ers for like 6 years were just running, churning. They've been in the playoffs and in a much better situation than they ever have been for a long, long time. It's sports. It's parity. It's how the league is set up. So if you want to be stubborn and just say, win, 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 then you're going to lose. You just are, because you don't want to be in quarterback purgatory, in which the Titans are in not only quarterback purgatory, but NFL purgatory when you're picking 20th.
Yeah, and real quick, there's Caleb, you're just factually wrong. Some of y'all are acting like a top 10 pick is a lock to be a success. Only had plenty of top 10 picks, and Lawan is the only success. Lawan was not a top 10 pick, and the Titans have had several top 10 picks who have been a success. They just haven't picked a lot of the top 10. Jack Conklin was a success of a top 10 pick. That's the only one they've had. Corey Davis, I guess, there too. We understand what that was. A reach that did not work out well. But Jack Conklin was a success. Injuries derailed that. They had to make a business decision. But Lawan was not a top 10 pick. So basically, Zach, what you were saying is that the Titans need to follow the internet meme of success is not a straight line. It's that squiggly line that runs all over the place that ends up going up to the top right corner. Is that what you're saying?
The top right corner is where you're trying to go, and you're not going to get there doing what you've been doing. Your best player, as you said, happy birthday. Like, you got one more year on his contract, and your quarterback's not good enough to win the big game.
Yeah. And well, for the folks that say Locker sucked, that was 3 general managers ago. Three GMs ago. So let's move on. We have to be able to separate for people who are making picks and all that. So, all right, let's go ahead and get to this topic, because look, the Titans might be in a different situation if they could have played tight and built a lead against the Jags at the end of the first half if Derrick Henry didn't fumble. So the Titans are working to fix Derrick Henry's fumbling issues. We're going to hear from Titans running back coach Tony Dews on it, and ask you guys if it's a big deal, small deal, or no deal. But Zach, tell everybody about Farm Bureau Health Plans.
Yeah, FBHP.com is where you need to go to get your new health plan. I got my new health plan last year. I carried it over into this year in 2023, and I'm really glad that I did. Health, dental, vision, 200 plus locations across the state of Tennessee. If you live in the state of Tennessee, you really need to take a look at Farm Bureau Health Plans. You've seen them on television. They advertise all over the place. They advertise with us because we are users. I'm a user. I actually use Farm Bureau Health Plans. They help me out. I got my card right here in my wallet somewhere. Wallet's upstairs, but it's there. It's locked and loaded. When I take my wallet, I've got it on me, and that affords me a great plan. That's fbhp.com/A to Z. Get a quote today by taking a health assessment and just see. And then you'll be like, wow, I should have switched a long time ago. This is less expensive, and the plan is better than my plan that I currently have. Well, That's when it's time to switch. FBHP.com/A to Z.
Download the BetMGM app. Use our code ATOZ Sports. It gives you a risk-free bet on pro football up to $1,000. Again, you download the app, use that code ATOZ Sports, make your first deposit for that risk-free bet on pro football. Great time to do it as we enter the last week of the regular season and into the tournament. So, Zach, let's hear from Tony Dews. We're going to throw out this question to all of everybody. Derrick Henry's fumbling issues are a big deal, small deal, or no deal. Here's the Titans running back coach.
Really, it's just a reminder of the fundamentals and techniques of carrying the football, in terms of keeping his wrist above the elbow, keeping the point of the ball up. And then, some fumbles happen. I mean, some things happen, but you always go back to fundamentals and techniques. So really, it's just carrying the ball the proper way, squeezing it, not putting it in jeopardy when it's running. And then obviously some of it is when you're fighting through tackles and fighting to break tackles, the second and third guy in, just like our guys, coach, they're coming in, gripping at the ball, punching at the ball. So just being cognizant and just really more than anything, just a constant reminder that the second and third guys coming in, and they're trying to get the ball. And if the ball's away from your body, or your wrist is low, your forearm is flat, that you're giving them more ball. The ball is exposed more, I should say. So keeping your wrist up, the point up, and then keeping the ball tight to your body. And then the next layer to that is pad level. By getting his pads over, now they're hitting the top of your shoulder pads as opposed to having the ball exposed because my body's upright, my pads are high.
So Tony Dews talking about, the old Tiki Barber, right? Yeah.
There's a lot there right there.
Yeah, keep your forearm up, because if you keep your forearm down at like a 90-degree angle, right, there's more football exposed, 4 points, all that kind of stuff that we got there. So big deal, small deal, or no deal for Derrick Henry's fumbling issues. And so somebody who says it's not a big deal, how about this for stats? Derrick Henry has 6 fumbles this year, 5 in his last 5 games. In 2021, when he played 9 games, he just had 1 fumble. 2020, the big 2,000-yard season, he had 3 fumbles. 2019, 5. 2018, 1. 2017, 1. In his rookie year, when he was splitting time a lot, had 0. So a lot more fumbles this year than typical for Derrick Henry. Big deal, small deal, or no deal on it?
I'm going to say small deal. It's definitely a deal based on what you just said, but I'm going to say small deal because I do think Tony Dews brings that up at the very beginning. Sometimes it happens, and we've seen that a couple of times, that it hasn't been completely on Derrick Henry. He's been in an awkward spot. The tacklers just hit him square, and that happens. But because of how many times it has happened and occurred over the last several weeks, it definitely is a deal. I think it's trending to be a big deal if it continues to happen. In Austin, if Derrick Henry fumbles the football against the Jacksonville Jaguars, they're not going to win.
No.
They're going to get that top 10 pick. So maybe he needs to continue.
No.
I'm not saying that. But it's so impactful to the game because of the players they're playing with. They can't afford to make mistakes, and they really can't afford for their best player on their football team to make the mistake, right? So this is a small deal for me, but it is trending towards the big direction, and I don't like that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it's a small deal, but if it happens again, it's a big deal. A Derrick Henry fumble against Jacksonville would be catastrophic. And I said this after, I guess it was the Houston Texans game was the last time he fumbled on Christmas Eve. I said this in the post-game show, that Derrick Henry fumbles are a stress fracture injury. It's an overcompensation type of injury, because Derrick Henry has so much on his shoulders, his legs, to carry this offense, that now whenever he has extra effort, there's exposed vulnerability there from that extra effort that is now hurting the football team, because he's fumbling the ball away. And it's happening on those extra efforts. It's happening on big hits when he's breaking a tackle. And by the way, the Jags lead the NFL in broken tackles allowed this year. So I think that is where Derrick Henry's fumbling issues are. It's because he's overcompensating and stressing himself too much. And I think that analogy makes a lot of sense with the stress fracture thing. It's a big deal. It can't continue.
So it is. What is it? A big deal or a small deal?
Well, I guess it's.
I mean, I just
well,
gotta ask.
I got caught up in just talking through things there, but officially it's a small deal
Okay.
unless it happens again. The next one flips it over to a big deal.
So Billy says small deal. Jared says big deal. Big deal from Jay. Mister says no deal. Dadson says no deal. Big deal from Jeff. No deal from Rooney. No deal from Tighten Up. Small deal coming in from Ronnie. Joel says Henry fumbling is a huge deal. The offense is not good enough to overcome those turnovers. That's something that we said. Extremely small from Quentin. Karen says big deal. Small from Scott. Steven says big deal. William says big deal. REKT says small deal if he can solve the issue. And I think it's going to go one of two directions, and we're going to find out on Saturday night.
What about this? Because if you remember Christmas Eve against the Texans, Derrick Henry fumbled, came back, removed the half sleeves from his forearms.
Well, yeah, he's searching. Like you're searching for a reason. But Tony Dew's got a tough coaching assignment. You are coaching literally one of the best, like, broken tackle running backs in the history of the NFL. You're trying to solve his problem. He's so big and he stiff arms up high, but you're telling him to get down low. The dude's 6'4", keeping the ball up high. And I remember after he fumbled, and I can't remember which game it was, the two of them, Dews and Henry, were sitting down, and literally Dews was saying that is keep the ball up here. And Henry was kind of like, just like anytime you make a mistake, I know. He's just got to go out there and do it again. It's going to be something to watch on Saturday night because we've all talked about it. Derrick Henry is by far their best player. If the Titans are going to win, 22 is going to have a good game. If the Titans are going to lose, 22 is going to have a bad game. And I think the discrepancy of good versus bad are fumbles.
Yeah, and it's fighting for extra yards because
the Jags, he had 100+ yards, but he
had 90. He had 92 or 96 in the first quarter.
Right. So he had a good game conceptually, but you get slashed, right? You have a bad game in the blink of an eye when you give the other team the football.
And so Paulie D says big deal fumbling is mental as well. It's always in the back of your head.
There's Tiki Barber is that example, right? That guy turned into kind of a head case.
Well, but then what did he do? He went like extreme. He like overcorrected and ran with a football up here, which probably hurt his top end speed, but it's okay when you get to play another down. And I think that's the other thing with Derrick Henry is that he's fighting for every yard through every tackle because he believes that's what he has to do to help his team who's been decimated by injury throughout the year, when really it's get a first down for a new set of downs. That should be the goal. And then somebody else brought up, I'm sorry, I didn't give you credit for this because I missed it in the chat and it's beyond us now for scrolling purposes, but several times Henry has fumbled from getting caught from behind. He has really not had that long breakout run minus Christmas Eve against the Texans. That was his longest touchdown run of the season. He's been chased down from behind on screens and run plays a lot this year, and he's fumbled twice. I think 2 of his 6 fumbles are from getting caught from behind on big open field gains. He had a fumble on a direct snap that was just a stupid decision by the play caller, but Derrick Henry still has to catch the snap and secure the football there too. But the majority of these fumbles are extra effort, vulnerability type of overcompensation fumbles.
Age and workload, right? I mean, he's getting older. He's slowing down. Now, the age and workload, like for Derrick Henry, because he is like a freak. I mean, you talk about the freak in Javon Curse. The reason why they said it is because he's physically a freak. His hands are as big as this screen, right? Derrick Henry is no different. He's a freak. So when you talk about like slowing down, and like he's not slowing down that much, but he is, because we've seen that more this year. But they've asked him to do so much more than they've ever asked him to do. Even in his 2,000-yard season in 2020, they had A.J. Brown, and I will say it, they had Corey Davis, who was under 1,000 yards that year, and they had the benefit of a adequate offense, right? So they helped each other. They have not had that benefit all year. It's been Henry. Their passing game, I would actually, Austin, I'd like to look at the end of this season. And there's been some bad passing offenses in the history of NFL football. I mean, this has got to be up there.
Yeah. I mean, we can do that at the end of the season because I'm curious about that too. I don't even know if it would be the worst passing offense this season in the NFL. Two comments that I find comedic. Amber says, Austin, who's blocking for him? LOL, hating FML. Like, I'm not hating on Derrick Henry. We're addressing an issue where he has the most fumbles in his career this season, and 5 of them have happened in the last 5 games that he's played. And who's blocking for him? The worst offensive line in the league. But these fumbles are happening in the second and third levels of the defense. That's the problem. And I
will say this to wrap up that comment. If I felt like you were hating, I would agree with that. Yeah. And you've hated for years and years, and I don't even think that you're hating.
I was skeptical of Derrick Henry's for the first 2.5 years of his career. Okay. I was right.
We were there. It was longer than 2.5 years.
No, it was 2.5. All right. Then Joey says a comment again, a comedic comment. CJ Stroud isn't spoken for. If the Titans can trade up, go get him. No NFL player or no draftable player is spoken for. What does even that comment mean?
Well, Stroud did help his CJ Stroud helped his draft stock with that performance against Georgia. And but you hope that it's not like a Kevin Dodd playoff performance or championship performance.
No, he's got more data on him. So real quick, some lunch money before we move on from the topic today. Noah says, I'd say small deal. We know Derek has the work ethic to work on it and figure it out. The only big deal part is that he will lose the iconic sleeves. He's still got the visor there, though, so that helps out. So some more lunch money as this comes in from Optimistic Jag Fan. Says, let's pray Derrick Henry fumbles 3 times. So you've got Titans fans who are ready to tank for a top 10 pick, and then Optimistic Jags fan coming in and just wanting everything to go right for the Jags to get in the playoffs, which would be a hell of a spot.
I will say the Jags are in a very compromising situation that they're not usually in. They're the favorite. They're at home. They're in a win to get in situation. They're on the cusp of winning the division. All of these things. They're playing the best football. I don't think I've ever said, or anybody has ever said that about the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe the 2017 season, obviously, with the run. But this is a unique position, and they're going up against look, Jags fans don't like Titans fans, just like Titans fans don't like Jags fans. So this is a great matchup on Saturday night in prime time.
Yep, it sure is. A to Z Sports here live on this Thursday, which means the Magic Bucket is back. So let's see what the Magic Bucket has in store for us today. But first, let me tell you guys about Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers. They are the official injury lawyers of the Tennessee Titans. And if you, unfortunately, get injured in a car wreck, call Hughes and Coleman for a free case consultation because they can go get you the money you deserve from that unfortunate car accident that could occur, right? So Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers, their phone number for a free case consultation, 800-800-4600. They've recovered over $1 billion. That's with a B, $1 billion for their clients across the state of Tennessee and in Kentucky over 30 plus years, and will go do the same thing, puts forth the same effort and intensity for you to get you what you deserve if you've been injured in a car wreck. Once again, the phone number, as easy as it gets, 800-800-4600, Hughes and Coleman Injury Lawyers, Principal Office, Nashville, Tennessee.
We're powered by BetMGM. Download the app today. Use the promo code ATOZ Sports. They are the king of the sports book. Get a risk-free bet up to $1,000 for new users right there. That's BetMGM. It's Magic Bucket time.
All right, Magic Bucket time here on the show. Whose sticker week is it?
It is yours.
Is it mine? Well,
it is.
Good. Because what I got for Christmas was thankfully a new sticker. Because I also have some good news that I'm going to tease for tomorrow. That was a part of my Christmas bundle of gifts from my lovely wife that I cannot wait to share. I'm very excited about it. You
Was a pack of like 50 stickers?
No. It has nothing to do with the show. Nothing to do with the show. It's just something that
would be a unique stocking stuffer. And I didn't even think of like that would be valued. If somebody gave me, and I didn't get that in my stocking. Let's see what you get some cool stuff in stockings, right? But if you gave me a pack of 15 stickers that lasted 30 weeks, really? I'd be like, hell yeah.
Yeah. And so like my wife knows that I'm constantly looking for stickers. And so every time she gets something from whatever, she's like, hey, sticker for the bucket. I'm like, thank you. Thank you. So this sticker, I honestly don't even remember what it came with. It came with a gift that we got for somebody. And just people just throw stickers in their shipping packages. It's a little honeybee. I can't remember where it came from, but that's my sticker that I got for Christmas. But an early tease for Ain't That Good News. Hopefully I remember tomorrow about one of my Christmas presents that I am so beyond excited for. I cannot wait to do this.
So it's an activity?
It's an activity.
Okay.
It's an activity. And it's going to take some training for me to do. All right. So that's a tease for tomorrow's show. All right. This is for me, Magic Bucket. It's been a couple weeks since we've done it because of the Cowboys game. Oh, this is a Magic Bucket from my wife input that during an argument that we get into, I just have to start.
We never do that. Wow, this is going to be tough.
She knows the show. Hum the Office theme song to break the tension in the middle of an argument on the show.
Can you give a preview of that?
You know what the Office theme song
is?
is?
But I can't think of it as of like.
It starts with a piano. Do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do.
Okay. Now
so to break the tension. So I'm gonna have to leave that on my desk here for that. All right, so this is now for Zach. I think, did Sam have to do this? Do the final segment of a show with peanut butter on the roof of your mouth. Did Sam do this with you one day?
Sam did do this.
Okay, because he was supposed to.
He did. He did.
Okay, good. Because, I completely forgot about to follow up with him, but I told him
he did
that the next day.
Man of his word.
Okay.
Because I remember it. Because I was kind of like, what are you doing? The reason why I remember that is he kept putting more peanut butter at the top.
And you're like, you're good.
And I was like, look, you're good, man. You're all good.
Sam, new young employee, just wants to make his bosses happy. And so Sam just keeps adding peanut butter. But yeah, Eric and Jared and Darrell and Amber and Tiffany all confirming that Sam.
See, we got the confirmations from the real OGs in the chat.
Yeah, that was funny. So tomorrow on the show, I will have some exciting good news, and you will have to have peanut butter.
I think I have some peanut butter in the cupboard.
Who doesn't have peanut butter in the cupboard?
Well, I'll actually do a little promo. I like a certain type of peanut butter. Surprise, surprise, I'm particular. And I will disclose this is top-notch peanut butter.
I think we've had this conversation on air before.
We've never talked about this particular peanut butter, though. Because, we'll talk about peanut butter tomorrow. That could be some of my good news.
As you're trying to, not choke on peanut butter. All right, guys, that's it for for today's show. Already teasing forward to tomorrow, so that's going to be fun. We're going to have another good conversation because tomorrow we will know who's in, who's out for the Titans against the Jags. We'll see if Traylon Burks' groin injury is okay after being limited yesterday and the trajectory of what the Titans have coming up against the Jags on Saturday, where we will have pre-game, halftime, post-game shows for the regular season finale, Titans-Jags, Saturday night, with our coverage beginning at 6:45 Central Time, 30 minutes to kickoff. Buck Rising is live tonight for A to Z Sports Prime Time. And because today is actually the Titans Friday, Sam Phelan will be back out there at the facility going through. And there's something special that's going to happen at the facility later on today. And so we'll talk to you guys tomorrow morning. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Appreciate it as always.
Adios.